Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. 2020 will soon be here, and what better resolution to make good on than the one to finally get yourself and your family a boat to enjoy. The crew at Madisonville Marine can help you find the exact right boat for you and your needs at the exact right price. They've been doing this since the 70s, folks. Madisonville Marine, madmarine.com, and Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Let's take a look at the defensive efficiency numbers. Same stuff we saw with the offense, only reversed, of course. Yards per play versus FBS allowed. Indiana, you would think Tennessee is getting, Indiana's getting all the pub for the offense. Tennessee's getting all the pub for the defense. And yet when you look at the efficiency numbers, there's really not much difference on both sides. Defensively, Indiana not that much worse. And identical in both these teams in their 3 games against ranked foes, both allowed 6.7 yards per play. Rushing yards per play against FBS foes, basically the same. Rushing yards per play versus ranked, Indiana gave up more than Tennessee did. Passing yards per attempt versus FBS that they allowed, about the same. Versus ranked opponents, about the same. But you can see Tennessee's really jumped against ranked opponents. A lot of that goes back to that Florida game, where Florida just threw their eyes out. Plays for touchdowns. So what you got here, that's that ratio. Tennessee against FBS foes, that's everybody but Chattanooga. They allowed a touchdown once every 23 plays. Indiana allowed a touchdown once every 19 plays. Against the 3 best teams on their roster, Tennessee allowed a touchdown once every 14 plays. Indiana once every 12 and a half plays. They're similar. It's not night and day difference. Now, 2 different conferences, I get that, but the numbers are a little more close than I think people would expect. Let's take a look at 3 areas, though, and I want you to tell me who gets the advantage. And let's start with short yardage advantage. I think most people would think, oh, yeah, that's going to be Tennessee. On rushes of third down and 1 to 3 to go, Tennessee averaged 2 yards a carry this year. Indiana, 3.7. In terms of allowing, Tennessee gave up 2.7 in those situations. Indiana gave up 2.1.
The defense does surprise me. The offense doesn't really surprise me because I think Tennessee's short yardage offense has had its problems. But the defensive numbers surprised me.
I mean, that's clear. Don't you give the short yardage advantage based on the numbers?
Numbers don't lie.
Well, they can, but especially it depends on your SEC versus Big Ten stuff. But boy, that's interesting to me. I did not expect that's almost a 2-to-1 advantage in terms of their offense.
Yeah, the 3.7 jumps off the screen right there. You know, that's getting something done.
Well, let's take a look at red zone advantage. Okay, now Tennessee's their red zone offense ranked 13th in the SEC. That's touchdowns. That's your red zone touchdown percentage. You were 13th in the SEC out of 14 teams. And Indiana scored at 60. They got a touchdown, 64%. So they're better in the red zone. Defensively, Tennessee was 11th in the SEC. It wasn't very good defensively in the red zone, giving up touchdowns either, 61%. Indiana, even worse, though, 66.6. Who are you giving the red zone advantage to?
Indiana. Defense, Tennessee.
I would go Indiana because of how much better they've been on the offensive side. Now, part of it is how many opportunities you get in this game, and that, of course, could be a factor. But, yeah, I'd give a slight advantage to Indiana.
I would too. I obviously didn't see Indiana play much, but just having seen every Tennessee game, that's seared into my brain with their struggles.
Yeah.
I'd give a slight advantage to Indiana. Here's another reason why. Their offensive coordinator has taken the Fresno State job, correct? But he's going to stay and coach the bowl game.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's going to help them where it could have really hurt them in like red zone situations. So I'd give a slight advantage to Indiana.
Yeah,
well,
Kalen
also in the
DeBoer.
first half, who do you think to go to first? Juwan Jennings is not there, so you take him out of your red zone offense at least for half the game.
Let's take a look.
Change my answer.
Let's take a look at third down advantage. All right, third down conversions. Tennessee 43% on the year. Indiana 48%. Tennessee third in the SEC in offense, so pretty good in the third down conversions. But Indiana's even better. Third down conversions allowed on defense. Tennessee 13th in the SEC. Allowing 40%. Again, the hype is Tennessee's defense, but when you look just at the numbers against other SEC foes, 13th. Whereas Indiana, 4th in the Big Ten. I think third down advantage based on the numbers. Now, it's a matchup game, but just to give you a thumbnail sketch of what you're going up against, I would give Indiana the red zone advantage here. I mean, the third down conversion advantage.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Well, you give them the red zone advantage, too.
So
after I was convinced.
You were convinced. Again, it's all about individual matchups, and the numbers go out the window, especially with a month off. But in terms of getting to know a team, which is what we're trying to do for you here, some of this surprises me. I was surprised. I would have thought Tennessee, even though Tennessee hasn't been good short yardage, I thought defensively they would be better in terms of the red zone, in terms of the third down conversions. I'm surprised by this.
Well,
So-
the thing I think it shows to me, John, is statistically you have proven this is a much closer game than a lot of people are giving it credit for, and therefore Tennessee fans should not think this is just going to be a cakewalk over an inferior Big Ten opponent.
Well, I think part of the question, and I'll ask you this, how much faith do you put in that 5-game winning streak? I don't want to take anything away from it. That's a heck. I didn't think they could do it. That's a heck of a deal to get to 7-5 from where they were. Would have bet the house they wouldn't do it. However, they didn't beat any ranked teams down the stretch. Most of the time, they were beating teams that were one-dimensional on offense. Some of the Vanderbilt game wasn't some big, beautiful blowout. It's kind of a slog. Kentucky was tough. How much faith do you put in Tennessee's?
Tough too. I mean, that was a slog.
That's right. And the South Carolina, you got touchdowns all over your special teams. So I just, how much faith do you put in that 5-game win streak? Because I think that's what everybody's looking at, and that's what's got everybody looking at next year, and we'll get past Indiana and then top 25. How much faith do you put in that?
One thing, then this is not just about the 5-game win streak, but when I look at Indiana State, you look at their schedule. They played Rutgers, they played Maryland, and they played UConn. That is 3 terrible teams.
That's right.
I think Tennessee, even Vanderbilt and Missouri were better than those teams. So their numbers could have been padded a little bit.
Exactly.
And Georgia State turned out to be, certainly did Tennessee's numbers no favor. So I think Tennessee played a tougher schedule.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yeah. All right. Very good. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I give them credit for the 5 wins, but as Josh and I think about everybody pointed out, you were playing one-dimensional teams, and boy, does that just make a difference on your defense.
All right. Very good. When we come back, Daniel Hood's with us again, and we're going to talk to him from a player's perspective. How hard is it to get focused in after the holidays, after some time off? How hard is it to get your mind right back on football? I guess part of that might depend on whether or not Lane Kiffin's your coach. Come on back on the Sports Horse.